Hello, dear audience. Wishing you a peaceful day filled with joy. Yet the scene before our eyes is completely the opposite. This afternoon, the sky turned gloomy dark clouds, covered everything, and relentless rain poured down as if to swallow the land whole. Floodwaters rushed down from above, torrents surging violently engulfing rice fields, roads, and even the rooftops of homes. In that suffocating atmosphere, Alex hurried toward the farm, the place where Tuna and little Henry were staying. His heart pounded heavily. His breath quickened, and each step felt like a struggle, as the water had already risen to his knees. But when he arrived, a sight froze him in shock. The house was empty, everything in disarray, with no trace of Tuna or Henry. At that moment, countless questions tore through his mind. Did Tuna manage to carry Henry to safety before the flood surged in? Could the mother and child find shelter in the midst of this raging disaster? And most importantly, could Alex find them before it was too late? The love story of Alex and Tuna now faces a cruel turning point when the lives of all three are tested against the wrath of nature. Dear audience, stay with us to discover in this life or death moment will love be strong enough to guide Alex to Tuna and Henry. And don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the gripping, emotional, and unexpected twists ahead in this stormy tale of love. The rain had begun to fall since noon, and by the time dusk approached, the tiny drops had turned into a curtain of white water. The wind howled in fierce gusts, lashing against the glass window, making the heartbeat of anyone listening race faster. Inside the small study, Alex sat at his desk, eyes fixed on the window. Raindrops raced down the foggy pane. His hand unconsciously gripped the pen tighter, but his heart was focused on only one place, the farm where Tuna and baby Henry were. In Alex's mind, fleeting images emerged. Tuna's gentle smile, Henry's innocent eyes, and the peaceful afternoons the three of them had spent together at the farm. But now, that serene picture seemed to be collapsing before his eyes. Instinct warned him they were in danger. Unable to bear another moment, Alex jumped to his feet. He threw on his raincoat and strode quickly to the garage. As soon as the car door opened, the smell of damp earth and the chill of wet air rushed in. His heart pounded each beat like a war drum, urging him forward. He knew he had to go immediately. If he was late, it might be too late. The car roared onto the road, its engine growling, merging with the storm's furious cry. The familiar road to the farm was no longer the peaceful path it once was. Now it was strewn with muddy pools, sudden streams overflowing their banks, transformed into raging currents. Torrents of floodwater rushed down from the mountainsides, carrying earth rocks and broken branches. The once tranquil landscape had become desolation. On the distant slopes, huge sections of earth slid down clouds of dust, mixing with water into a massive wall of mud. A landslide could strike at any moment, but Alex no longer cared. His mind clung to a single thought: he had to reach the farm. The car jolted violently through flooded stretches, its wheels nearly sliding off the road multiple times. Alex's hands clutched the steering wheel, sweat mixing with rain streaking across his tense face. No matter what, he gritted his teeth and pushed forward. Nothing could stop him because ahead lay the lives of the people he loved. At last, after a perilous journey, Tuna's farm came into view, but the sight before him shattered his heart. The farm, once green and serene, where flowers and grass swayed in the breeze, was now a ruin. The thatched house had collapsed halfway under the storm's assault. Fences splintered animal pens, destroyed roof tiles scattered everywhere. Floodwater rose to his knees, sweeping away logs, planks, and familiar belongings. Tuna Henry Alex shouted, his voice breaking amid the pounding rain. No answer came, only the howl of wind and the hammering of rain on broken tin echoed back. Alex charged into the wreckage. His shoes, heavy with mud, dragged him down, but he didn't care. His trembling hands overturned planks and fallen beams. Each time he lifted, a piece of rubble hope flared briefly in his chest, only to collapse again when no sign of them appeared. He called their names again, his voice hoarse. "Tuna Henry, where are you?" But his cries vanished into the endless rain. At last, Alex's knees buckled. He sank amid the wreckage, clutching his head in both hands, his heart constricted by sheer terror. His mind spiraled with questions. Had Tuna managed to carry Henry away before the house collapsed? Had they found refuge somewhere safe? Or a more painful fate he dared not imagine. Yet, in that very moment of despair, a spark lit in Alex's eyes. He could not stop. He was not allowed to give up. As long as he lived, he had to keep searching. He rose once more, fumbling through the wreckage. His hands bled from sharp splinters, but Alex brushed the pain aside. He pulled apart thatched roofs, overturned crumbling walls, desperate to find even the smallest clue. Be it Henry's toy or Tuna's scarf, he would not leave anything unchecked. The rain poured harder. The wind roared fiercer. It was as though all of nature conspired against him. Yet Alex's heart defied the storm. The wilder it grew, the fiercer his resolve burned. 2 hours passed. The rain finally began to ease. The heavy downpour turned into a gentle drizzle, falling softly onto the ground. The once raging floodwaters now weakened, revealing muddy patches of land, scattered branches, and pieces of wood left behind after the storm. Yet amidst the desolation, Alex never stopped searching. His hands were bloodied from lifting broken beams, his eyes red from rain and tears. Then suddenly, within the stillness after the storm, a familiar voice echoed. Alex. That voice, faint, fragile, yet enough to make Alex's heart nearly stop. He whipped his head around, eyes widening. And there, not far away, stood the familiar figure of Tuna. In her arms, Henry was still fast asleep, his breathing steady and peaceful. Tuna. Henry. Alex choked out, his voice breaking. Without a second thought, he ran toward them. In that moment, time itself seemed to stop. Alex pulled Tuna and Henry into his trembling arms. Hot tears streamed down his face, mingling with the raindrops that still lingered. Tuna, too, could not hold back. Her tears fell onto her chilled cheeks. I was so afraid. Afraid I would never find you again. Alex whispered, his voice raw with emotion. Tuna rested her head on his shoulder, replying through sobs. Henry and I are still here. We're still together. Only then did Alex finally breathe in relief. All the worry, fear, and despair of the past 2 hours dissolved away, replaced by a peace so profound, a simple happiness, yet the most precious of all. Amid the ruins left by the storm, those three fragile souls had found each other again. In Alex's arms, after releasing some of her fear, Tuna slowly lifted her head. Tears still clung to her cheeks, her voice trembling, but gradually regaining composure. She began to recount to Alex the terrifying ordeal that she and Henry had just endured. When the rain grew heavier, I saw the water in the yard rising so quickly. At first, it was only at my ankles, then, within moments, it was up to my knees. I held Henry in my arms, my heart racing wildly, not knowing what to do. The pounding rain, the howling wind outside. It felt like the whole house was shaking. I was so scared, Alex. Her voice broke, her arms tightening around her son, as if to make sure Henry was truly safe in her embrace. Alex remained silent, only placing a gentle hand on her shoulder, lending her strength. Then, when the water started rushing into the house, I knew I couldn't wait any longer. If we stayed, Henry and I would be swept away. I hurriedly grabbed a few essentials, held Henry tightly, and ran out into the storm. The road to Grandma Tang's house no longer looked like the familiar path. Everything was submerged in water. Every step felt like walking on the edge of an abyss. Alex, you don't know. I thought I might never see you again. At those words, Tuna's eyes turned red, her voice faltering. Alex felt his heart twist painfully, each word piercing him like a dagger. But thankfully, I made it to Grandma Tang's house. She opened the door, pulled us inside. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be standing here with you now. Henry, still sleeping soundly in her arms, breathed softly and peacefully, such a stark contrast to the raging storm they had just survived. Alex held Tuna even tighter, his voice choked with emotion. Thank heaven. Thank Grandma Tang. And thank you for being so strong. In that moment, both of them seemed to understand, no matter how harsh the storm, love and resilience would remain the guiding light that brought them back to each other.
Cuối cùng đôi chân Alex khuỵu xuống. Anh ngồi sụp giữa bãi đổ nát, hai tay ôm lấy đầu, tim thắt lại bởi nỗi sợ hãi tột cùng. Trong đầu anh quay cuồng hàng trăm ý nghĩ. Liệu Alex có kịp đưa Henry chạy thoát khỏi căn nhà sập? Liệu hai mẹ con có tìm được nơi ẩn trú ẩn an toàn? Thế nhưng trong khoảnh khắc đấy, đôi mắt Alex lóe lên một tia sáng. Anh không thể dừng lại, anh không được phép bỏ cuộc. Còn sống là còn tìm. Anh lại đứng dậy tiếp tục lần mò trong đổ nát, đôi tay rớm máu vì những mảnh cố vỡ. Nhưng Alex vẫn gạt hết tất cả sang một bên. Anh lật từng mảnh mái tranh, từng bước đường đất, hy vọng tìm ra một dấu vết nhỏ thôi. Rồi chỉ là một đống đồ, một món đồ của Henry hay chiếc khăn của Tử Na, anh cũng sẽ không bỏ sót.